Hi, today I will be talking about one of my most recent projects that I've been working on. It's about Apple in 2018. Firstly, we need to figure out what life would be like in 2018. You can see the general idea of the future here based on the recent studies. The changes that matter the most to the technology world are shown in the slide. People will do more work at home as a result of traffic and the increased ease of communication. Therefore, space saving becomes a critical matter, since they need to live and work in the same given area. We have seen many new categories of gadgets being introduced recently, and if this continues the same into the future, people will have trouble with space. As a result of that, multifunctionality gains value. If a device can do the job of 5 other devices, people would want to buy that device. Hence save space and make things simpler. With that in mind, now we talk about the domestic rituals related to technology. A lot of our daily rituals have been digitalized recently. We use different services for each of the daily tasks, but there's something that they all have in common. There's always a monitor that we're interacting with, either playing games, reading the news, or just watching TV. There's always a monitor. Now you're probably thinking that not all devices have monitors on them, but let's forget about those for today. These monitors come in different formats and different sizes, as small as 0.7 inches to a 10-inch tablet up to 46-inch TVs and sometimes even bigger. Now let's get back to the devices we use every day. We use different interaction methods specific to each of these devices. We use multi-touch screens, buttons, keyboard, trackpad and mouse, remote controls and body gestures. Most of us already know how to use most of these methods to control our devices, but these aren't the only interaction methods. There are so many methods in the market and new ones are coming out every now and then. Just to give you a hint of how complex this whole system is, let's take a look at the smallest interaction method there is. The 3 buttons on the Apple earphone that we are all familiar with. We all know the up and down buttons are for controlling volume, and the middle button is for play and pausing the music. If you press it twice, it skips to the next track. If pressed thrice, it goes back to the previous track. And on the iPhone 4S, if held down, it invokes Siri, and on previous iPhones, it invokes voice command, and on the iPod Shuffle, a long press invokes voiceover. We can see how each method can act differently when combined with different devices. And if that's not complicated enough for you, let's add all these different operating systems that are out there on top. And we see that simple tasks such as sharing a text format file can cause lots of troubles such as version compatibility, unmatching transfer methods and lack of support from the OS. Now let's take a step back to the devices we use every day. It wasn't until a few years ago that most of our digital activities were done on our PC, and all the other devices we had were unipurpose. For example, the TV was just a TV, and phones were meant for calling and sending short messages. But now, we have all these different functionalities built into all these devices. Though it might sound good at first, but it opens the door to lots of more troubles as well. I believe this system isn't going to work. This is just a recipe for disaster. It's going to cause lots of confusion. Because of all these different operating systems, there's going to be lots of new transfer methods, and it's going to make it impossible to keep all your data in sync on all your devices. You'll be soon running out of storage as well, since you'll be having multiple copies of your files on multiple devices. And there will be lots of privacy issues. Most of these problems are solvable through the right software and the help of smart cloud storage and computing. Your devices would only need a network chip, battery and display. That would make the devices really cheap, lighter and more portable. Easy control over your data across your devices. Safe and fast. For having all these amazing features to work properly, you need the right hardware. You can't talk hardware design at Apple without talking about Johnny Ive. Ive's biggest inspiration has been Dieter Rams, who was the chief of design at Braun from 1961 till 1995. One of the examples from the influences Rams had on Ive's work can be seen in iPhone OS 2. The calculator app clearly resembles the Braun calculator from 1976. In the documentary Objectified, Rams says that Apple is the only company who's following his principles to good design. Reading through the principles, you can find some clear Apple characteristics, such as the extreme attention to details, being environment friendly and making the designs as little design as possible, with a clear idea of what an Apple design should look like. we take the next step and see what technologies should be implemented into Apple products in 5 years. Communication between devices and keeping data in sync is going to be vastly improved by AirPlay and cloud storage and computing. Wireless charge, sync and backup would eliminate the need of cables in our workstations, hence making a more neat environment. Lots of advancements on Siri is going to be made, and talking to our devices would become one of the main input methods we would use regularly. Augmented reality is going to play a big part of our future. Communicating with the surrounding environment is going to be much affected with this technology, and people will have lots and lots of information available at any given time. And at last, a self-aligning projector on the main station that would double as a TV, media center or a presentation unit. Now that we have a clear idea about the future, let's see what the hardwares will be like. First, we talk about keyboard and trackpad. They'll be incredibly thin, with built-in batteries capable of wireless charging, so you'd never have to worry about changing batteries anymore. The keyboard is illuminated, thus making typing at night much easier. The ambient light sensor is in charge of adjusting the backlit illumination, and there's an on-off switch provided, so you can turn the keyboard off when you're traveling. There also is a small LED light indicating battery levels. Here's how the keyboard looks like in bright and dark environments. Now let's talk about the smartphone. It's going to have a dual-layer transparent LCD to bring perfect augmented reality to the consumers. It turns transparent when you need information from the world surrounding you, or using an app that uses AR, and it turns opaque when you launch apps like Safari and you need to read information on the screen. Next stop, the tablet. It has the same dual LCD technology for augmented reality built into it. It is optimized for touch and keyboard and pointer input, so you would use touch to interact while on the go and using the daily apps. Then you would place it on the desk and use the trackpad and keyboard to use the more accurate professional apps. Last but not least, the main station where all things come together to work as one. With the built-in projector, it can do the work of a TV or simply an extended desktop to help get things done more efficiently. Here you can see the pop-up projector when in use, and when in standby mode. These 5 devices come together to form an easy-to-learn and use ecosystem which would replace all your gadgets in a way that wonder how did you ever do things differently. All the wireless charging, Wi-Fi syncing, backup and information transfers are done either through the main station unit or the cloud. You can see the projector in action. It pops out when you need it, and goes away when you don't. And it aligns automatically, so you don't have to worry about aligning the projected image. And that would be all I have to talk about my project. Thank you for the time you put for watching this video. Have a good day.